So today we're going to start off with a little video, and then we'll have Sarah come on with a cooking show, as well as then we're going to have Erin follow up with taking us virtually to Ireland and telling us all sorts of wonderful things. My name is Julie Johnston, and I'm with Julie J Travel. I craft inspired experiences for active aging travelers, busy professionals, and groups seeking exhilarating vacations that envelop you in luxury. With my deep destination knowledge and access to top guides and my creative spark, I'll ensure that you're fully immersed in the cultures and the landscape that you visit, with a little bit of relaxation sprinkled on top. I've started a cooking show as well as travel show, and I take everyone each month to a different destination. And today we're live in Ireland, and we are partnered with a travel partner that I work with. And today is Brendan Vacations with Erin Vaughn. And then we also have a guest chef, and each month it's rotating, and we've been able to fortunately be live in destination in different locations every month. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and start out, and I'm going to have a little short video to get us excited and take us to the destination. And then we will go ahead, and if you have any questions that come up during the presentation, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll respond to them at the appropriate time. That gets us all excited to where we're heading today, virtually, as well as we have Sarah, who I'll give you a little bit of background on Sarah. She is born and raised and from Blackrock, which is in the northeast part of Ireland. It's about halfway between Dublin and Belfast. And she went back for vacation to visit her family. So she's there today live at her parents' home where she grew up. But she had joined and started getting the travel bug early on when she joined a group called Cross Border Orchestra of Ireland. She's a flautist, and she had traveled all over the world. And during those travels, she discovered New York City and decided to make that her second home in 2010. So she loves New York City, and she now works for Brendan Vacation, who's our preferred partner today, travel partner. And she loves to bring all of the memories and the cultural experiences of Ireland, as well as its cousin, Scotland, to travel enthusiasts. And she handles the client care. So we're going to start off with her. She was pressed for time, so we're not going to actually go through the Irish coffee demonstration. We will go through the Bailey's brownies. She will send me a video, though, that she did do for the Irish coffee. And if she has enough time, she'll just verbally run through that recipe. But I will send you out a video that she will provide me with for the Irish coffee. So let's get started and meet Sarah. Thanks, Sarah. Take over.
Oh, thank you, Julie. Hello, everyone. Well, massive Céad Míle Fáilte, which is 100,000 welcomes to beautiful Ireland. I am very happy because I just got to come home on Monday the Ireland just opened to US fully vaccinated travelers on Monday. So I hadn't been home in 19 months. So can you imagine? I was on that first flight that landed at 4:30 in the morning. So it's been a wonderful few days to be with my mommy and daddy, and that's where I am today. I'm in the kitchen where I grew up, and I thought I'd share some wee Irish recipe that I love with our Bailey's brownies, because one, Bailey's is the dream, and two, who doesn't love chocolate? So let's put them together. I thought this would be fantastic. And I do work for Brendan Vacations, and I like to say we're anything in a kilt. That's how you're going to remember us, right? We're the Ireland and Scotland experts. Okay, so feel free to put any messages in there. I think Erin can say hello as well. She's there. Any questions? And I'm so excited that you joined me. And you know, I really appreciate your time. And thank you, Julie, for having myself and Erin jump on as well. Okay, so we're going to go through these brownies Baileys, and I did mention to Julie, oh, be careful with the Baileys, how much you put in. Oh my goodness, and how bad your day was. You put in amount of Baileys. I'm only kidding. I'll go through it all. So I actually have my oven preheating right now, and I did line a baking tray, like 9 by 9, and I put some parchment paper on that. So that's where we're going to put the Baileys into before we put it in the oven. Okay, I'll just run through the ingredients. I have my unsalted butter, and I have this melted. I have also got my sucra, which is Irish for sugar. I have my vanilla essence. I've also got my eggs. Whoopsies. They're here. We got the eggs in there. So I'm going to put them there for the moment. And I also have my all-purpose flour. And I have my chocolate chips, the cacao, baking powder, salt, and my condensed milk. And my cacao, the natural cacao as well. So I got the nibs and the natural cacao. And this, all the ingredients will be followed up. So if you're following along, fantastic. If not, you can try these. They always go down a treat. Oh my goodness. I did a wee practice run the other day, and Mommy and Daddy were nibbling away at them. I had to stop them. I was like, careful now with all the chocolate, the Baileys. So you're going to love it. So I have the oven on, and first of all, I'm going to get my bowl, and I am going to pop in my melted butter. I've got my sucra, just some Irish lessons for you now today. Just here, we're going to pop that in. Then I have my vanilla extract. I'm actually just going to pour this in. So 1 wee teaspoon of that. Pop this in here. And next up, we're going to have the Baileys, the star of the show, I like to say. Now, I actually like to enjoy Baileys with just some ice. I love them just on the rocks. Baileys on the rocks is delicious. Some people like to put it in a bit of an Irish coffee as well, or their Irish, you know, so many ways you can enjoy Baileys. So even putting in your food, it is delicious. So we're going to do 3 teaspoons or tablespoons, I apologize, for the first of the fudge part. So right now we're making just the base of the brownie. Let's pop that in there. And then I'm just going to give that a wee swirl just to mix it up as we go along here. Oh, it looks lovely. And then we're going to grab the eggs and then combine the eggs. Now I do have a whisk here with me that I'm going to use to combine it all together. So if you have one, fantastic. If not, you can mix away there. So I'm just going to grab my wee eggs and get that. Now, in a pot, and I'm going to give it a wee whisk until it's like really well combined all together. Okay, here we go. I do apologize if this is a little bit loud, so I'll if you want me to go mute, I can, but we'll just go. Okay, so just give that a wee whisk there. Let's see the consistency that you'll have it. You get a wee spoon there. I'll show you. So a bit like this here. You can see the egg there. So that's mixed together. So I'm just going to put that aside for 1 wee second. I was just telling Julie there and Aaron before anyone popped in, we're having a bit of a heat wave in Ireland. It's very, very warm. It's in the 70s. And we wouldn't be used to this kind of heat. So they're having heat advisories on the radio and on the TV, being like, be careful, this is what you need to do. You need to drink water. Well, from living in New York City where it's so muggy and clammy and hot, I'm thinking this is heaven. I think it's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, Ireland is fantastic at the moment. Everybody's out enjoying it. Anyway, so we go on to another empty bowl. We're going to make the start of the dry ingredients that we have. So we have the flour. I actually sieved this flour before I got this all together. Pop in the flour. Then I got the cacao. Pop it in here. I'm going to pop that there. And then next up is the baking powder and salt. Just for handiness, I just popped them in this wee egg cup holder before I just came on here. So just pop it in. And then I'm just going to give that a wee mix. Just so it gets the colour. Now we're going to mix this with the wet ingredients. Now, I've made this before where the flour and everything goes, and it's like this big puff of a beautiful chocolate-filled air. So if you want, you can put a wee towel over it too. That might be tea towel, if you do want to avoid that. But today, I think I'll be all right because I have a bigger bowl today. So I'm going to take back my wet ingredient, and we're going to mixture until it's well combined. Okay, pop it in there. I'm just going to put my Baileys here for a moment, just so you guys can see. And then I'm just going to go on this again. Hope it's not too loud for you guys. I'm going to give it a wee swirl. Here we go. Sometimes when making this, you'll see that the flour and the coffee powder will come up along the side. So just stop a little bit and you can pat it down into the wet mixture again. Oh my goodness, I just love the smell of this. Oh, I can smell the Baileys already. Oh, so good. So I'm going to give it another wee whisk. And fabulous, it's all prepared. Now, has anybody who's joined us today, has anybody been to Ireland before? If you have, I'd love to know where. Or if you're planning to go, let me know where. Or when you were here, or what you're most looking forward to doing when you're here, or what was your favorite spot if you were here. I would love to hear that. I know Julie's coming very, very soon, or this year, so that's going to be absolutely incredible. She is going to be living like royalty, castle nights and whatnot. Oh my goodness. You're going to have to keep us posted, Julie, with loads of photos and everything. Want to see that. So this is all combined here. I'm just going to show you guys and see that consistency. And what we're going to do next is we're actually going to put it on our prepared pan and spread it evenly. So let me just take it over here. Here's what I had earlier, all ready to go, and spread it down. Now these brownies, they make about 16 of them. They have about 16 brownies. So we're just going to pop it onto the pan. And then after we do this, we're going to make the top of the fudge on top of it, which is incredible. So let's get that all in there. Now, I actually should make a bet with you all. How long do you think these Baileys brownies are going to last in my house? What do you think? I feel like there's going to be some visitors knocking on my door. Been like, I hear you made some brownies, Sarah. Leave some outside for us. I love that. Pardon?
One afternoon.
One afternoon, yeah. To be gone, yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's so
I'm
funny.
thinking 30 to
And we're gonna-
45 minutes tops.
Oh, and then we're just going to spread it evenly onto the baking tray and just spread it out. And I love having these with an Irish cup of tea. There's this, I don't know what it is about our Irish tea. There's what we call Barry's tea, and we have Lyons tea, a bit like English breakfast tea. Oh, it's nothing beats it at home. I don't know what it is, if it's the milk I have with it, but it's just so incredible. And I love having them now before I go to bed, a wee brownie and a wee cup of tea as well. Okay, so spreading that evenly. And then we're going to pop it into the oven. So we bake it, I'd say about 18 to 20 minutes we're going to bake this. And while we're doing that, just you can check it with a toothpick when it's done. So I'm going to put this in now and then set a timer for 18 minutes, and then we can check it then. Let's do that. And then I'll show you how to make the creamy topping. So good. It's gonna go right here. And I'm just going to set my timer for 18 minutes.
So Sarah, I noticed
I'll
you
give to the
didn't,
gab, Julia.
I noticed you didn't go all the way to the edges. You kind of kept it in the middle.
Oh, yeah, I kept it just a little bit, depending how many you want. So you can, how thick you'd like them. So I put them not too far off the edges. Yeah, but I did spread them out. Yeah.
Will it expand a lot? And that's why?
It'll get higher. It won't get too long, but it'll definitely it'll rise up a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I just set a timer there for 18 minutes. I know, but we mightn't have that time. So maybe Erin, you can talk while we're if needs be. But I'm going to go ahead now and show you how to make the fudge and the topping, which is amazing. You're going to love it. So we do this. We have our cacao nibs. You see these? And then we have our condensed milk. Of course, we need some more Baileys on this. Of course we do. And and then some vanilla extract as well. So we actually do this over the stove. So what I'll do is I'll show you, just we're going to combine them first, and then how we cook it over the stove on top of a pot. And if you have a glass bowl, this works a treat. So we pop in the condensed milk into the cacao nibs. Put it in there. Oh, you just even looking at the consistency there, like you just know that it's going to be delicious. Pop that in, and then we have our half a tablespoon of vanilla extract. There it goes. And then we have our 5 tablespoons of Baileys. Here we go again. As I said, you can see how much Baileys you want. Maybe you want to have less Baileys, or you want to know however you feel. 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Perfect. So I'm just going to give that a wee mix, and then I'm going to turn these around, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing and how this all melts together. It's going to be delicious. So giving that a wee swirl around there. And I'm going to just bring it over 1 wee second. Nice. Can you see me? I'm just like, way, here we go. Okay, perfect. So I'm sticking on the with a pot of hot water, and I'm going to put it on top of the stove. I'm just going to, this is a little now tricky now for me. I'm going to put it on. And then I have this in a glass bowl. So there's hot water in that saucepan, and I have my mixture, and I'm just going to put a little bit more hot water into it, just for the sake of time, and then pop glass bowl like that. Can you see that there? I want to show you. Like that sits on top. This is how I'm making the fudge. And then I'm going to start swirling it so it'll actually melt from the boiling water. So I'm going to do that. And Erin, while I'm doing that, do you want to mention anything? Oh, what's going on?
We can chat a little bit. Let's see. How about Julie? Do we have any questions yet?
Yeah, any questions coming in while I just give a wee swirl here?
Not as of yet.
Perfect.
We haven't heard from anybody whether they've been to Ireland or want to go to Ireland. So pop it in the chat if you've got any feedback on Ireland or you want to head there yourself.
Yeah, if there's anything else you want to learn today when we start to talk about sort of how we travel later, because after Sarah's done, we're going to touch on a couple fun things that Brendan does specifically. So if there's anything you want to hear about, pop it in the chat and I'll make sure that I address that a little bit later as well.
Yeah.
Erin, do you want to walk through our itinerary in November?
Sure, I can do that quickly. Yeah, actually, yes, I can walk through that for you. I was going to do it in the bigger one, but we can do it now and I'll just cut that part out later.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no worries. So as Julie mentioned, she is actually going to be attending a hosted experience with Brendan Vacations in November. I'm so excited because I will be there with her to be able to kind of guide them through, which is going to be awesome. But it's just a way for you guys to see sort of how we're able to completely customize itineraries in Ireland and Scotland. So we knew that GTN or Gift to Travel Network, which Julie is a part of, wanted more of that luxurious feel, right? They wanted to see sort of full blown how we can do it in a luxurious manner in Ireland. So we were like, you know what? We got you. Let's pull something together and we will take a group of 36 of you and really just have an amazing time in November. So what we put together, and I'll walk you through some of the slides still when we go through the presentation, just so you can get a visual with it. But we're doing 5 nights and 6 days in Ireland. We are arriving in Dublin. From there, we are going to do a Dublin City walking tour with one of the best walking tour guides in Dublin. And from there, basically, we'll get just a little bit of the lay of the land. We'll point out some of the amazing history and architecture and really great things that just make Dublin tick, right? Like some of those things that it's known for, but then some things that we may not know yet. So some really fun hidden gems there. Then we're going to go to Epic, Ireland for a welcome reception. And if you aren't familiar with Epic, it is an amazing museum. Yes, Sarah, I see your face over there. Epic does a fantastic job with all these different interactive galleries to tell you about the history of Ireland and immigration, and just all of this really, really great information about the history of Ireland and how it's sort of evolved through the centuries, right? So we're going to do our welcome reception there to really get to know each other and hang out and have a little bit of fun. Then we're going to head over to Fallon and Burn and have dinner that evening, which if you haven't been there before, it is an amazing restaurant. It's kind of a unique venue that houses a wine bar and a food hall and a restaurant. And they really pride themselves on having just top-notch food. So I'm very excited to share that with the group. From there, we're going to stay in the Marion Hotel in Dublin for our first night, which is an amazing 5-star Virtuoso property right in the thick of things, across the street from the government buildings. But we're really going to get our first taste of real luxury when we stay at the Marion. The next day, we're going to head out and we're going to do some really fun experiences that are unique to Ireland, like the Irish National Stud Farm. So you're going to learn a lot about the history of equestrianism in Ireland. We'll learn about the museum that's housed on campus there and just really get out and interact with something that's very fun and unique and local to Ireland. We'll have a quick lunch at Dirty Nelly's and then we head to our first castle. So we will be staying at Dromullen Castle on our second night, which is fantastic. And while we're there, we're not only doing obviously some free time to hang out, but we're doing a walk with the head gardener so we can learn all about these fantastic, amazing gardens that Dromullen is known for. And then we're going to have dinner at the Earl of Thomond restaurant that evening. Again, just a really high touch point, high class experience that's going to be lapped in luxury. So the next day, we're doing a little more culture and sightseeing. So we're going to head off and see the Cliffs of Moher, which if you have not seen before are absolutely breathtaking. These sheer cliffs that just jut out of the ocean. It's always breezy. It's always beautiful. Something that is one of the icons of Ireland. So we want to make sure and add that in, especially for those who maybe haven't been to Ireland before. We don't want to forget the teas and scones though, because the theme of this trip is not only luxury and castles, but it's also sip, savor, sláinte. So we're going to eat, we're going to drink, and we're going to have some snacks along the way as well. So we want to make sure that we're doing a tea and scones experience, a little high tea for you as we're driving around. Then we get to our next castle, and this is the creme de la creme of castles. We are staying 2 nights at Ashford Castle. So if you're not familiar with the history of Ashford, it is a 5-star castle experience. It is owned by the Travel Corporation and is part of Red Carnation Hotels. It used to be the Guinness family summer home back in the day. So it went through an extensive renovation when the Travel Corporation bought it, because parts of it were sort of dilapidated. It was starting to fall apart and crumble. So they went in and made sure to take the utmost care and restore it to its former beauty. It now houses a world-class spa. It has so many different activities on the grounds, from golf to horseback riding to sightseeing and falconry, which falconry is something that our group will be participating in as well, which is so exciting if you've never done that before. So that's when we begin our experience at Ashford, right? We show up, we'll have dinner in the Dungeon that evening. So one of the more casual-esque restaurants on the property, to just kind of come in, have fun, congregate together and have an amazing meal. The next day is when we will do falconry and sort of have our free reign of the grounds, right? Whatever people want to do in their free time. But that night we are having dinner at George V, which is the main dining room at Ashford Castle, an amazing, luxurious experience, and one that I am so excited to share with the group. The next day, we are going to take it back to Dublin, and we are going to visit Jameson Bow Street, where we will have a cocktail mixing class. So if you know anything about Jameson, one of the most well-known Irish whiskeys, as a whiskey girl myself. Oh, there's Sarah, see? Everyone who's a whiskey person, it's a required thing to have on your bar cart. So we're going to go to Jameson Bow Street in Dublin and have a whiskey making class, learn more about the whiskey making process in general, and give everybody a glimpse into that unique flair of Ireland also. We will have a farewell dinner that night, and our last night will be spent in the Marion again. So 2 total nights at the Marion, 1 at Dromullen and 2 at Ashford Castle. But that last night is really just going to be meant for sort of reminiscing on the week, really taking it all in, perhaps hopping downstairs to their bar and having a cocktail or 2 to sort of end the week. But it's a really good glimpse at sort of how our private driver section works. It is a custom group, if you will. So it's something that we were able to build from the ground up. We picked all the accommodations based on what everybody wanted, and it doesn't necessarily have to be castle stays. You can mix and match everything from a bed and breakfast up to a castle if you really want that unique flair as well. But wanted to build in a little bit of everything, a little culture, a little food, a little sightseeing, a little history, just to give them a very well-rounded experience, but at that top-notch touch point, if you will. So that's going to be our trip. I'm counting down the days. I don't know if you are, Julie, but it's in my calendar. I have a countdown. I'm ready.
I most certainly am. I most certainly am counting the days, as is my husband, Eric, who's on here today as well. And you're speaking his language, you know, talking about, and I'm super excited about the falconry. I just think that's going to be fun. And they've got bicycles there. I've been reading up on, they got the bicycles that you can just ride the bicycles all around the property. And they've got, you know, boating and fishing. And I mean, there's just so much there. And I love all the green space. And I actually was, you know, how can I fit a mystery murder dinner party in at this castle?
Oh, love that idea. Love that. Well, and it's one of those things is we wanted to make sure that there were 2 nights at Ashford for a very specific reason, right? One, it's the ultimate luxurious place to stay, right? Like we want to make sure that we're staying there, living like princesses, pack your tiara, you're going to need it. But it's one of those things too, that there's so much to do on the grounds there that we wanted to make sure that we gave everybody plenty of time to be able to pop in and do those experiences that really speak to them personally. So if you're one of those people that just needs to be zen and relax, you can spend your day at the spa. If you want to get out and be adventurous, as you said, you can ride on the boat tour, you can do the bicycles, you can take a garden walk, falconry, horseback. There's just so many different things to do to fill your time that we wanted everybody to have the chance to do that. And that's one of the beautiful things about Brendan and the experts planning the trips behind the scenes, is that, you know, once your advisor speaks to you about what it is that makes you tick when you travel and what you love to do and what you don't love to do and what experiences you want, we're able to really tap into that and make sure that you're getting plenty of time to do those things and building them into your trip, so you are truly getting the ultimate experience that speaks to you personally.
I can't wait. I can't wait. We do have some comments in the chat, so I'll just read those off. We have a person here saying that they've been to Ireland a few years ago. First Dublin only, then a motor coach tour from Dublin around the whole island. We have another guest who was there in May of 2019 in Dublin, Cork and Tralee. And so they got in right before the whole lockdown. So that was good. That's a great place to end. Another person went to Ireland 5 years ago, said that it was a fabulous trip, went around the whole island in 10 days. We also actually have someone there who was in 2011 and 12. And then let's see. Another person spent a day in Dublin when my husband and I were visiting our daughter while she was studying in Paris. We visited the Guinness factory, visited Trinity College, took the Hop on Hop bus tour. I was curious as to that. Is that a good one? I love those in the city because you really get to get an overview of what you should go back to, you know. Do you recommend the Hop on Hop off in Dublin?
I tend to do them, like you said, in every city I go to as well, because it's the best way to A, get acclimated with the city, because you're kind of seeing where everything is, but B, they're giving you so much information. And that's kind of what we'll experience on our Dublin City walking tour. We'll hit a lot of those big locations and kind of do it that way. The hop on, hop off is usually nice though if you're there on your own, just because it's typically a 24 or a 48-hour pass. So then you're able, once you kind of do the sightseeing, to hop on and go back to places you want to see again or spend more time in. So I personally think the Dublin one is awesome, but
yeah. Someone else said, yes, those hop on, hop off bus tours are fabulous. Really enjoyed seeing all and would love to go back basically. So yeah, I love the hop on, hop off. They're
yeah. And those
money
are
well spent.
Absolutely. And those are definitely things that we can add into your itinerary as well. If you know that's something you want to do, in addition to just a local tour with a local specialist, we have the ability to put that stuff together as well. So it really gives you sort of a healthy mix of everything, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. We'll pop back to Sarah. Sarah, you ready to do the topping?
Oh, you just had me there. I have 2 minutes left on my timer, but do you want me to go through an Irish coffee for you?
That'd be great. So I don't know, for those who missed, we're actually not going to make the Irish coffee today, but Sarah's going to send me a video of her making it because we don't have enough time today, but she's just going to walk us through it verbally.
I can probably do it very, very quickly. It might not look fantastic, but I can give it a whirl.
We're always for a whirl. We love a whirl.
Sure, we'll give it a go. Okay, I'm like Speedy Gonzalez now. We've got me Jameson. We've got my sugar, the shukra I mentioned earlier. And we have our whipped cream. And we have our coffee as well. Kettle's boiled. I don't know if you just saw me there. I was warming up the glass. That's a wee tip. It's nice to get the glass warm. And I also have a teaspoon in a cup of warm water as well. And I'll show you the trick for that in a minute. So first in, we're going to put a teaspoon of sugar. So I got this down here. Teaspoon of sugar in it goes. Oh, let's do a bit more. And then we're going to put in the coffee. And the coffee can be your personal preference. You want some instant coffee, you want some coffee you've done the press, whatever it is. But the key is you put the coffee in before you put the Jameson in, because it'll help melt and the sugar with the coffee. So I'm just going to grab my wee kettle and pour it up. Now we leave about that much because we want to put in the Jameson and we want to have the Irish coffee in as well. Going to give this a little wee stir. And as I mentioned, you know, we have, I think, I apologize if this alarm goes off now while I'm chatting. The amount of Jameson is the amount how bad your day was or how good it was, depending. If you're celebrating, you'll have this more. In you pop the Jameson, usually an ounce or so. I'll send all the ingredients over. Give it another wee, we're just going to stop that for a second. Going to give it another wee whirl. And then the key. Going to grab your spoon and you're going to sit it on top like this. Okay. We're going to get our whipped cream. And the whipped cream is going to come and it's going to fall off the spoon onto the top of it. It's going to sit on top of the coffee. Just like that. You see, that's lovely there now. Sit down on top and then voila. Get a wee, maybe some wee chocolate and sprinkle on top, a dream. So there we go. A very quick Irish coffee, but I hope he's got it. And cilantro on that. I'm going to go and check on my brownies. I bet you my daddy's going to want this one now.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a coffee drinker, but it looks delicious.
Do a decaf.
I can attest, they are delicious.
My husband's a big coffee drinker, so he'll be definitely, and he loves Jameson, so it's a nice combination.
It's both worlds then.
Exactly.
Go wrong. And I was just reading, so as you were reading those comments earlier, talking about people like traveling the whole island, if you aren't as familiar with Ireland, you don't know that Ireland is not really that big of an island, right? So we always suggest people take at least a week to go just because there's so much to see and do that we want everybody to have plenty of time to be able to see it all. But if you took Ireland and brought it over to the US, the entire island would actually fit inside of Lake Michigan without touching the borders. So it's not a very big, yeah. So from Belfast down to the Ring of Kerry, it's only about what, 5.5, 6 hours. So it's not a super large island, but it is jam-packed with amazing people, awesome culture, food, history, all of the above. So we want to make sure that everybody has enough time to see and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say 10 days, 7, 8, 9, 10 days is a great day because I find my first day, I like to get a good sleep. So I have a whole extra day to enjoy myself. I'm just going to show you the brownies came out like this. Okay, and then I want to show you the fudge and the consistency once you scrub. When you'll see it as you make it along. Oh, I can smell the Baileys. Oh, and what we're going to do is we're going to pop it and smooth it on top of the actual base here. So in it goes, top it goes, and then spread it so it'll have a topping on that. Oh my goodness. See, I can see my parents pop it up now. They get the smell of the Baileys. You see, they're getting the whiff of the chocolate and the Baileys. And what you're going to do is then you're going to let this cool a little bit and then put it in the refrigerator, in the fridge for 4 to 5 hours. And then you can cut it up into squares. And then you're going to have it. And I'm just going to show you some that I prepared earlier. 1 wee second. So they'll come out. And let me get one here. They'll look like that. Can you see that? They'll come out like that. A nice thick fudge head on top of it too. So it makes about 16 of them. There you go. I know that was quite quick. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. And I'd love to see any photos if anybody did it. I would love to see it. And I guarantee you're going to love them. It's going to be a staple now in your treats when you're having guests over. You're going to love it.
Thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful. And they look delicious. And it's all set for tea. It looks like you're ready to have that tea with you, the way they're all presented.
Of course. Nothing like a wee cup of tea and some brownies.
It's fabulous. Well, now we're going to turn things over to Erin. And we're going to have her give us a bit of a presentation to take us there and allow us to see the possible activities and places we can go. They do Ireland as well as Scotland. So take it away, Erin.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quickly. Let me, 1 second. And get it all ready to go here. Okay, are you all able to see that? Okay, hold on 1 second. Are you seeing just the green screen? Or are you seeing the notes as well?
Seeing the notes as well.
All right, let me switch screens here. All right.
There you
we
go. You're in full mode now.
Perfect. So we are here today to talk about Brendan Vacations. Obviously, we had Sarah on the team as well earlier. She is our North American rep for Brendan Vacations specifically. I am Erin Vaughn. I work alongside Julie to help her be successful in her Brendan journey as well. And today we just want to give you a glimpse of what Brendan is, what we do, how we do it. As Sarah mentioned earlier, we are anything in a kilt. So think Ireland and Scotland, and we are experts in those two realms. So as you can see, as we mentioned, anything in a kilt, it's all we do. We've been doing this for over 50 years now. It is our bread and butter, and our managing director has actually been with the company longer than she has not. So she has all of the relationships. Our office is right there in Marion Square in the center of Dublin. So we know what we're talking about when it comes to Ireland and Scotland. It's also travel for everyone. So we want you guys to experience the Celtic Isles your way, which means that you tell us how you want to travel. You tell us how the styles speak to you, what you want to do while you're there, and we will help you all build the perfect vacation for what you're looking for. And lastly, we are a nation of storytellers. If you have not picked up on it yet, Sarah and her family obviously have a crazy amount of fun stories to share. They want to share their stories with you, and we also want Brendan to become a part of your family's chapter in your history book. So moving on, when I talk about travel for everyone, what does that mean exactly? Well, we offer 5 different travel styles with Brendan Vacation so that you all, again, can pick the style that speaks to you personally, that's really going to touch on the things you want to do. So first and foremost, we have guided vacations. Pretty standard with the Travel Corporation. If you don't know anything about us, we have a lot of brands that do mostly guided vacations. So we want to make sure that you know that if that's your travel style, we can accommodate it, no worries. But then we also have 4 styles that are individual or FIT styles, which means you're traveling with 2, 4, 6 people that you want to travel with, and we're completely customizing your itinerary. And we have a few different ways to do that. The first one is private chauffeur. So you're getting your own individual driver. They are taking you from point A to point B and all of the experiences in between. They are very knowledgeable. They are experts in the destination as well. And it's really nice to have that person that can kind of point out the local things and show you hidden gems, in addition to getting you around and getting you from point A to point B. We now have Lux self-drive. So in addition to just normal self-drive where you're getting the car, you're going on an adventure and you're doing it yourself, we do want to say it is for the adventurous at heart because you're driving on the opposite side of the road and you're probably going to run into a traffic jam of sheep at some point along your journey. But it's a great way to sort of let your hair down, roll with the wind and the windows open and really see the epic scenery. But now we have Lux self-drive, which means you're getting an elevated experience. So a higher end car like a Mercedes SUV or a Land Rover, something along those lines. But you're also getting all of the really high VIP luxurious touch points that you would get on a private chauffeur vacation. So for Lux self-drive and private chauffeur, what I mean by VIP experiences is there's a lot of really exclusive experiences. So for example, in Northern Ireland, there's a cooking class with a woman named Tracy. It's just your group there doing it. So you're going into places at your desired time. You're not having to go in with other people, things like that. So it really makes it exclusive and special for you and the group that you're with. But also gives you the ability to decide whether you want to be driven around or whether you want to take on that adventure yourself. And then lastly, we have locally hosted rail. So Ireland and Scotland do have an amazing rail system. As you can imagine, with the islands both being somewhat smaller, the rail only goes so far. But it is an amazing way to see the country. You have a local host in every single destination that you go to. So they can be sort of your 24/7 concierge, if you will. They'll get to know you, learn about your likes and dislikes, give you recommendations on things to see and do. And it's just, again, a really nice sort of comfort to know that you have somebody in that destination as well. And not to worry, when the rail ends, if there's somewhere else you want to go, we can take you by car and driver to make sure that you're not missing out on anything. So for example, Cliffs of Moher, there's no train that goes there, but we can pick you up from the place you're staying, take you up there to visit for the day and bring you back. So nothing is off limits with Brendan Vacation is, I guess, what I'm trying to say here. But we also have these really amazing new identities that we want to point out because we know that people love the idea of Ireland and Scotland. And now we've broken it down into these different groups that are really the most traveled with us. These are the people that are really seeking out Brendan because of different niches or different groups they want to travel with. So first, on the far left, you're going to see it is more than just a game because we do golf vacations. We know that Ireland and Scotland are big on the bucket list for golfers. The Scottish will tell you that they invented it, but the Irish will tell you that they perfected it. We'll let you be the judges on the golf courses there and really experience those links. The beautiful part about golf vacations are we take care of all of the details. So you really truly just have to bring your shoes and we can take care of the rest. But it's done by the private chauffeur style, which means if you have non-golfers in the group, they're actually able to go off and do things during the day with the driver, while those who are golfers get to take in that experience. Next, you'll see luxury, because we can do it at a 5-star level throughout both countries. If you are a luxurious traveler and really want those high touch points and very luxurious feels and accommodations, we can absolutely do that for you as well. Next, we have connecting to your roots. So there is a lot of ancestry and history that comes from Ireland and Scotland both. My family is actually Scottish. I have not been yet, so it's something that I'm going to use Brendan to explore. But we want to help reconnect you to your roots. If you've done ancestry in the past and know certain places or buildings or certain things that that relates back to your family roots, we can help you get there. We also have the ability to help discover more genealogy through some of the facilities that we use. So if you've begun your journey in searching it out and want to share that with our team, we're actually able to help in certain ways to help uncover more information about that. So it's a really great way to get back to your roots if that's what you're looking to do. We also have romance, or as I like to say it, the celebrationers. So those people that want to do birthdays like Julie will be doing with us, or celebrating those other milestones, honeymoons, anniversaries, graduations, family reunions, all of those different things that really deserve a celebration, we can do that with you as well. And then lastly, families. We have so many multi-generational families that travel with us because grandparents want to experience it with their grandkids, and aunts and uncles and moms and dads and nieces and nephews all want to go together and have an experience where they know they are being taken personally and really getting to just kick back and invest in the memories together. So those are the 5 identifiers. As I mentioned earlier, those travel styles, we're able to mix and match and make sure that you're getting a little bit of everything you want on that vacation. So the world truly is your oyster when it comes to Brendan Vacations. I'm going to show a quick little video. It's our luxury video, just so you can get a taste of what that looks like. So I don't know about you guys, but that gives me the goosebumps every single time I watch it, because it truly is that high-end, just luxurious, make you feel like a king and a queen type of experience. But we can do it all. We can do from the most affordable up to the most luxurious with Brendan Vacation. So reach out to Julie and she can help you there. Again, I want to walk through just a couple slides to show you visually now what we'll be doing in November to give you just a glimpse of what it might look like. So again, we are staying 2 nights at the Marion Hotel, one on the front end, one on the back end. Again, that 5-star Virtuoso property that is right in the center of everything Dublin. But we're also doing a night at Dromoland Castle. So it's that castle stay made of dreams. Ashford Castle is another one that we'll be staying in for 2 nights also, but we're mixing and matching the accommodation types as well as the levels, just to give them everything we can do in an estate, a manor, and a castle stay type experience. I mentioned sip, savor, and slanching. So again, we have a very robust number of meals included in this, just so they can see the different type of properties that we are able to access for our guests. But everything from Fallon and Burn to the exclusive property or the exclusive restaurants on property at Dromoland and Ashford, to Jameson tasting and cocktails. We really want to run the full gamut of what Ireland can offer, because food is no longer just boiled potatoes and Guinness in Ireland. They are really stepping up the culinary experiences, and we want to make sure that we're able to show that to our guests as well, but also give them, you know, a little bit of the local authentic in maybe a steak and Guinness pie and a Guinness. We want to make sure that you have everything you want in those food experiences. We're also going to discover Dublin, as I talked about. There are so many things to see and do in Dublin. So we want to point out those highlights so that they're able to come back and share with the guests some of the really cool things that are not to be missed within the city of Dublin. We'll be heading up to the Cliffs of Moher to look over the edge. Obviously, we don't want to get too close because a little scared of heights, but there are these sheer cliffs that jut 60 feet out of the water, and it's just the most breathtaking view to see Earth meet sea, and it's just incredible. If you haven't been there before, I've done it once and I cannot wait to go back again. Again, another very exclusive experience in going to the Irish Stud Farm. It is the only stud farm in Ireland that is actually open to the public. There's a museum there that talks all about the history of what horses have meant to Irish culture. So it's going to be a really fun outdoor and just sort of wildlife inspired experience, which also brings me to falconry at Ashford Castle. So again, just bringing in some of these really fun exclusive experiences that you all can do on your vacation to Ireland, but to give them a very small glimpse at some of the really, really cool things that are available to the guests. So that would be the itinerary walkthrough. And that's what I have for you today. Do we have questions? Do we have comments? Let me see if I can get to the chat section here.
It is fabulous. I'm super excited. I don't see any questions in the chat box. If you have any, feel free to put them in there.
Yeah.
The pictures are so colorful.
It's beautiful. And I mean, they call it the Emerald Isle, but I don't think you ever really truly appreciate the sheer number of shades of green that Ireland possesses until you fly in, because it's just like this beautiful patchwork quilt of every shade of green you could ever imagine being possible. It's absolutely, it's beautiful.
And green's one of my favorite colors.
It's a good one.
There you go, that and purple. So if you were to have, we'll be doing a post in Dublin, and we will be doing, you know, the walking tour and the tour on the beginning of the trip in Dublin. Would you suggest renting a car to go and do any day trips from that location?
You can, absolutely. I mean, if there are things you want to do outside of the city, for sure. I would not recommend renting the car until you're ready to leave the city, though, because parking's really, really bad in Dublin. It's a very, very walkable city, so you really don't need a car, and you don't want to pay for parking if it's just going to be sitting there. So on the days you want to do a day trip, totally fine. We can schedule that and set it all up for you. You would just go pick the car up and head out of town from there. So that way, again, you're not wasting time and money finding parking or paying for that. But yeah, you can absolutely do things like that.
Yeah. How far, how much driving time would you need to kind of allow for going and experiencing some things that you might want to outside of the city? I mean, is it where you're driving all day and it doesn't make sense to do it? You know what I mean? Where you're in the car 4 or 5 hours and then you got to do that on the way back. So it's like 8 or 10 hours in the car to spend an hour there. Is
Yeah,
it something that,
I think it really depends on what you're trying to see. So obviously, if you're going from Dublin up to like the opposite corner, might want to consider spending a night over there, just because from one side to the other is about 3.5 hours if you're going from like Dublin to the West Coast. So just depends on what you want to do. But for example, Belfast is only an hour and a half north of Dublin. So you could drive up there, 100% spend the day in Belfast and come back. You could also take the train up because there's a train that runs from Dublin to Belfast. You could go down and do Waterford if you're interested in Waterford Crystal and things like that. It's not super far outside of Dublin either for a day trip. But I would say if you're going maybe to the West Coast, you're probably going to want to drive over, maybe spend a night and then come back, just because 6 hours in a car is a lot for just a day trip.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's, that's why I was curious as to.
There's lots to do just outside of Dublin though. So if you're wanting to do just things right outside of there, 100% you could do that in a day trip, head up to Northern Ireland, come back. But I would say anything over towards like Ring of Kerry or on the West Coast, probably going to want to spend a night over
Spend the night.
there.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions? And I want to, if you can stop sharing your screen,
sorry.
Erin,
Yeah,
Go
absolutely.
back to.
Yep.
And I want to thank Sarah again. Sarah, that was fabulous. We really enjoyed being there. Thank you to your parents who going outside while you did your presentation, and their home is beautiful. And so I'm glad mom had her sunscreen on and she was protected out there. But we want to thank you both. Thanks, Erin. That was a fabulous presentation. I know Eric and I are super excited to go in November and looking forward to it. If anybody has any questions or thinks of anything or would like to plan a trip, you can certainly reach out to me. And I'll be sending out the recording within a couple days, and everybody got a copy of the recipes, but I'll send those out again. But thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm going to sign off now, and we'll hope to see you next month. I haven't established where we're going next month yet, still working on that. So I will send information out on that as soon as it's available. So take care, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.